Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode 30 of This Week in IP&O. We are, of course, as always, live from the couch in my room, special edition State of the Podcast episode. People want to know, what's the state of the podcast? We have some pretty big news that this will be the last episode of our good friend of the podcast, John Reda. A 30-episode run. John is moving on from his career here at Rutgers. John, what would you like to say to the many, many fans at home who've tuned in for 30 episodes?
What a ride. What a ride it's been. I think to think back that this has been 30 episodes, right? I guess we're quickly approaching that 1 year mark where we haven't been in the office in our normal capacity. And I remember the conversations about, how do we keep people engaged and have some visibility for what the people that are staying on campus during this pandemic are doing and keeping people informed. I remember those conversations, and it was like, that's a great idea. I think, Rich, that was your idea, I believe. Maybe not, but I remember thinking, that's a great idea, but I don't know if anyone's going to go for that. Like that's kind of out there. And we got the blessing, and it turned into something. I think we've talked about this a bunch of times, but it turned into something that we never really saw it turning into. And between having some super engaging and intelligent guests, really, really incredible topics, it's been a lot of fun to be a part of, just from the podcast perspective. It's been great, and I'm going to be number one fan now. I go from co-host to number one fan pretty soon. So,
well, we're definitely not happy to be losing you. I think we're going to have to reassess the dynamic. But at the beginning, we've gone from scrubbing our groceries to talking to the people who have helped develop vaccines and the people who are getting us ready to go back to campus safely.
Right.
So it's really been kind of like we've captured the whole life of this pandemic from the IP&O side, at least, throughout these podcasts. So those are always going to kind of be there. We didn't have a playbook really of like, what do you do in this situation? Like, this was obviously something that nobody had ever faced before, and so we've kind of made it up as we've gone. But I think we've been pretty on it, and the guests that we've gotten, as you mentioned, John, have been great.
Yeah,
and always on topic and timely things. So we're gonna have to just keep that ball rolling, even if
for sure,
even if you're moving on to better things.
Yeah.
John, do you have any musings of your career here at Rutgers? Let's say someone's watching this podcast who just got hired a week ago.
Okay.
What do you want to say to this person?
I mean, primarily, don't be afraid to be creative, think outside the box. I've seen it, even in my own role, right? So I was brought in as a web developer, and at the time, I think everybody thought that that's what I would be doing primarily, and kind of only that. I knew that there would be some photography work, but my role was to be a web developer, make a new website, bring all of these individual groups under one umbrella, one IP&O website, and we did that. But throughout time, we had a bunch of crazy ideas, like, hey, let's buy a drone. And we were able to convince the powers that be that was a necessary tool. And the next thing you know, we started getting requests from all over the university, and we started using it in ways that we didn't even imagine, right? Same with what we just talked about with the podcast. We just threw something at the wall that we thought was a good idea. It stuck, and that's really my that's my biggest thing. It's just a matter of be creative. Don't be afraid to throw a crazy idea out. Worst case scenario, you wind up with a drone pilot's license and you're flying over SHI Stadium for a police training exercise.
Yeah, I remember when I first came on, it took me a little while to adjust to how many hats everybody kind of wears.
Yeah.
It's a unique environment in that, in that sense. But it's really fun. Again, it's been great working, with you, John, and undergoing that whole process of really kind of, we had such overlapping skill sets, and I think we all learn from each other. And I think that's also, if somebody's coming on and we're going to have a new third member at some point, they're going to have to be somebody who's crazy adaptable, because it is never the same thing. It doesn't stay the same very long, even if it,
right.
Yeah,
it's funny, when people ask me, friends of mine, they're like, I thought you build websites. What are you doing out on the golf course, getting pictures taken of you in a sand trap for? Like, that's not building a website. It's like, you don't understand. It's like, web developer is my title, but
we're losing. Oh man, we're losing our golf model.
The golf model. Yeah.
We can't find a golf model.
Web developer, pilot, model, actor, screenwriter.
The craziest part is that in my interview, when Liz and Ghislaine were looking to bring me on, I brought headshots and they didn't even ask for them. They didn't even ask me if I had my headshots.
What is your handicap, Joe?
I haven't kept it, but we'll get there.
I'll tell you what, John. It's been a great ride. As a coworker, as a mentor, as a friend, I have no complaints whatsoever. And the next company is getting a good guy. And for the state of the podcast, we're still going to be here. It's just going to be a little less crowded on the screen for now. So stay tuned with us. We're going to keep giving episodes. And Johnny, this is your last word. We will give you the floor.
Well, thanks for what you said, Paul. I really appreciate that. And I think that's a two-way street between you and I, and obviously same with you, Rich. I never imagined that I'd be learning as much as I did about graphic design and the odd football bet here and there. But, we had a really good balance of keeping things work related when we needed to, and taking their foot off the gas when we all needed a little reprieve, and turning around, having such easy access to both of you, just being able to start screaming questions at you unsolicited while you're in the middle of something. I'm sure I drove you guys both crazy plenty of times, but I'll really miss working with you guys. And then, beyond that, I think I've got to say thanks to Liz and Ghislaine for taking a shot at me when they brought me on from the help desk 3 years ago now. And without them taking their chance on me, I don't think I'm in the position to accept the new role that I had. So, big thanks to them. And this may be a ta-ta for now, but it's not goodbye forever. I'll be, like I said, #1 fan of the podcast. I gotta get my bets in with the boys. We gotta talk football still. I'll miss Rutgers, but I'm excited for the next chapter for sure.
You heard it from
Good
the
luck,
man
John.
himself. Good luck.